British philosopher G.E. George Edward Moore is known as one of the founders of analytic philosophy. Born on November 4th, 1873, Moore was a contemporary of Bertrand Russell. The two were students together at Cambridge, with Russell 2 years ahead of Moore.
Go.
You dear old chap, you should really write about ethics.
Oh, well, perhaps I shall.
Yes.
Brilliant.
I agree.
Yes. Smashing idea.
I know.
In 1916, Moore married his former student Dorothy Ely, and the couple had 2 children. Sadly, there are no exciting tawdry details to make Moore any more interesting. He's actually described in the online Encyclopedia of Philosophy as an exemplary husband and father. Though Moore spent most of his terribly dull life in Cambridge, he did take his analytical show on the road and taught as a visiting professor in the U.S. from 1940 to 1944. Moore's Principia Ethica, written in 1903, is said to have heavily influenced the Bloomsbury Group, a collective of prominent artists, writers, and intellectuals that included Clive and Vanessa Bell, Vita Sackville West, and Virginia and Leonard Woolf, among others. In its first chapter, The Subject Matter of Ethics, Moore sets out to pin down exactly what it means to discuss ethics. He breaks the problem into 15 numbered tags, beginning with a brief description of the traditional conception of ethics. According to him, the term ethics is generally used to refer to what in the conduct of us human beings is good, and what is bad, and what is right, and what is wrong.
Hey, Susie.
Oh, what?
You lost your dollar.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
Wants us to think beyond human conduct. After all, if ethics is about what is good, surely there are other things which occupy the realm of goodness. According to Moore, to define goodness by human conduct alone, and thus failing to examine this property in other things that are supposedly good, will fall short of a full understanding of what it means to be good. This in turn, will lead to false ideas of what a good human act really is. So, Moore sets out to discover the nature of good.
Moore separates good and the good, saying that we can define the good or things that are good. But to explain good on its own is impossible because it is a simple concept.
For instance, yellow is a simple concept. If you have never encountered yellow, there are various things I could say about yellow. Yellow is the primary color. It is generally bright, often associated with bananas and school buses.
Toot toot.
However, none of these things really explains what yellow is to an extent that it really is defined. A horse, on the other hand, is something we can define. It is a quadruped mammal, generally weighs around a half-ton, has hooves, has a particular arrangement of features, hair, etc.
We can say that this is what it means to be a horse. Not so with good. We know it when we see it.
To claim a truth about ethics by associating good with things like pleasure and desire is what Moore calls the naturalistic fallacy. While some people may say that which is good is that which is an object of desire, others may say that which is good is that which gives us pleasure. They could both be right, or one could be right and the other wrong, but how could we ever tell? He illustrates this with the analogy of the definition of a triangle. Person A says a triangle is a straight line. Person B says the triangle is a circle. Since they are completely different things, all that is proven is that at least one of them has to be wrong. But it is impossible to determine who is wrong just from these two inadequate and vastly different definitions. That, for Moore, is exactly the problem with good. So, good is either a complex, definable concept, but we don't agree on its terms, indefinable and simple as Moore claims, or entirely meaningless. He uses his open-ended question problem to settle this dispute. Premise 1. If X is good, then the question, is it true that X is good, is meaningless. Premise 2. The question, is it true that X is good, is not meaningless, i.e., it is an open question. Conclusion, X is not analytically equivalent to good. To say that good is pleasure is like saying pleasure is pleasure, which is like saying it is what it is. However, it is not meaningless to say, is it true that pleasure is good?
So, good means something, and we know what that something is intuitively, but we cannot say what that is without creating a circular While Moore agrees that human action that leads to general happiness may be good, he argues that the reasons philosophers have given for this conclusion are fallacious. Many of our ethical principles, such as do no harm, may be correct, but for all the wrong reasons. As with the get here problem, we have false justification for our beliefs because of the naturalistic fallacy. For Moore, therefore, defining good is impossible, and ethics must not be defined in reference to it, not the other way around.